Morning guys, how are we all? Welcome back to another one. Today's Saturday, this is day 6 of me answering subscriber questions. I'm in the Lee Valley Regional Park this morning at Waltham Abbey, near the White Water Centre that you've seen before in one of my videos. Very pretty place it is too. I'm going to be trying out different adjustments with this monopod this morning. Apologies if one or two of the sound bits are a bit off, but we'll see how it goes. I'm doing some testing. At least you get a bit more of a view, eh? A bit more of a view, so long as you can hear me, that is. We'll see. We'll see. I also don't think my arm will last as long holding it at this distance. The leverage makes the camera weigh quite a lot more. But we'll see. That's what testing's all about. One of my brake shoes is binding at the moment as well. Just a tiny tad. Just a weeny little bit. So you can probably hear it. I'll stop and sort that out in a moment as well. In the meantime, I'm looking for somewhere nice to stop and have a coffee. Tell you all about my cameras and electronics that I'm using. I think it would be a bit difficult to be riding along holding a camera showing you pictures of another camera. As you can see, it's turned a little bit colder this morning as well. I've got the woolly hat back on. This is such a pretty place. So when I said I was looking for a place to have a coffee, I also need somewhere open enough, not under all these trees, but open enough to fly the drone a little bit, hopefully. You might remember over near the White Water Centre, there's a field there where I've flown the drone before in a previous video. If we can't find anywhere else, we'll head over that way. Right, well, we just had a little shower go through and now the sun's come out. It's really quite warm. I'm sheltered in a little corner of this wonderful field. Give you a look at that. And there's not another soul here. And what's even better is the hot water's boiling. Coffee time. Right, coffee's ready. Shall we begin? Right, what you're looking at there then is the Canon G7X MkII. This is my go-to camera for all of my vlogs. I do roughly 95 to 98% of my camera work is using this one little camera. It's what I would consider almost a perfect vlogging camera. On the top, on that little dial, see where that's pointing to camera? That's where I leave it. I don't think I've ever on purpose moved that off of where that little camera is pointing at the white dot to the side. That's auto for video. That's what I leave it on, and that's what I get my pictures with. It really is as simple as that. As you can see, it also has a little flip up screen. Hello. And that flip up screen allows me to see myself in the camera, so I know exactly where I'm pointing at when I'm going along on the track. Now, just in reference to what Graham was talking about the other day, when he said about pointing the camera away from myself. Now, obviously, when I've got the camera pointing towards me, the microphone, which is, just let me fold that down, those three little holes are the microphone on the Mark II. Excuse the velcro around it, that's where I put my wind muff on top. I'll show you that in a moment. But so that's the microphone. Now when I'm cycling along, you can imagine there's wind blowing across those three little holes, and they make that awful roaring noise that I've been apologising for all week on my videos. When I have the screen up, because obviously I'm holding the camera and the wind's coming from behind, that protects the microphone a little bit more. And then we have the wind muff that goes on there that protects it a little bit more, although it hasn't been doing as good a job as what I was expecting. Like I say, this week it's really proved itself to be not very good at all. But the problem is, when I turn the camera away from me, obviously the screen folds down, we point the camera away from me, and I need to be able to see where I'm pointing the camera. So the screen is down. Now all that wind, as we're going along, is blowing across that mic. Even with the muff on there, we're still getting some wind noise. So with the screen up, my voice is then being deflected around the screen, and we end up with that muffly noise that we had the other day. So this morning, in an effort to help you see a little bit more about what's going on around me, I've attached the camera now to a monopod or selfie stick. If I just pop that down, there we go. And that's obviously extendable. You undo these and it'll extend for about 3 times that length, I think. Up until today, I've been using the camera with this mini tripod attached to the bottom of it, which I've been using as a handhold. Still going to be using this little tripod. That screws into the bottom of the monopod, and I can then use that with the camera on top. Just the same as a tripod. There's my side bag. Why am I showing you a picture of my side bag? Well, I just wanted you to see where I keep the G7X when I'm not using it. When it's not in my hand, on that little tripod it fits in there. So today we've just started using the selfie stick on the bottom of that. That's going to cause me a problem. It don't fit in the bag anymore. I can either take the stick off every time I finish using the camera and then put it back on when I want to use the camera again, but I don't like that idea. That's too fiddly. Still thinking about it, but one that I did just come up with whilst I was riding along this morning was perhaps come up with some sort of clamping system so it can go on there when I'm not using it, on the stand assist. Whether I could clamp it on there. Need to be a fairly tight clamp though, wouldn't it? I wouldn't want it falling off as I'm going along. Wouldn't be the first person to ruin a G7X MkII as they're going along on the road recently. No. Still thinking about that one, don't know. But I'm certainly not going to have it like that. And I don't want to have to take the thing off the top of the monopod every time I use it, because yeah, as I'm riding along that, you wouldn't believe how many times that camera's in and out of the bag. It's just not feasible to take it off and put it back on again every single time. Ideas on a postcard or in the comments below. So now I'm sitting in the corner of this field, and it was good for a minute, but now I'm plagued by these little black flies. I'm going to have to move. I think they're coming out of the hedge. I'll go into the centre of the field a bit and see if I can get away from them. Ooh, horrible things everywhere. I moved over a bit away from that fence. I think I'm away from the flies for a minute. I'm sure they'll find me soon though. Right, on to the next camera. I've not been using this one very much, and I'll explain why in a moment. It's the GoPro Hero 6. It's a nice lightweight little camera. It's waterproof, That's one of the few purposes that I've been using it for recently. If it starts raining, I'll get the GoPro out. As it sits there, it's outside of its little case. I'll just put that in the case. So now the GoPro's in its case. It obviously has the attachment on the bottom there now, so it can be screwed into different things. I've got it on the camera stand attachment at the moment because I have the Joby Gorilla Pod that I can screw into the bottom of that. I think this is fabulous, the actual pod. I've owned this now about 6 weeks, I think, and gives the GoPro so many more uses. For those of you that haven't seen one of these before, basically you can take this and wrap these little legs around anything. Let me just give you an example. So there's the vertical stand assist pole on the front of my trike. I mean, that could be any branch or twig, but you can basically take the legs of the Gorilla Pod and they just wrap around any old way you want them to, and you can lock it on just like that. I mean, they literally wrap around anything, meaning that I can put that GoPro camera anywhere and point it at anything. That said, the stand assist bar or anywhere on my trike is the last place I would put any of my cameras. The vibration as you're going along is atrocious. I have tried it on occasions and it just didn't work. So then we can just straighten these legs back out on that if we want to. I'm a bit OCD with these legs. I always have to put them back like that so that they're ready for next time. But when that's done, if I wrap that camera around like that, then when we come to putting it away, I keep it in the side bag, and like that it just drops in. Really is as simple as that. So reasons why I'm not using that as much as I could do at the moment. The video footage that I get out of the GoPro looks absolutely superb on my computer at home, and it looks good whilst I'm editing. But when it comes out the other end, for what you see on YouTube, the footage is just not there. And I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong just yet, so I'm a bit nervous of using the GoPro too much, trying to do some fancy shots with it, only for it to end up looking absolutely awful on the final result. Could be to do with different frame rates, could be to do with the compression as these videos are uploaded onto YouTube, I don't know. I'm still working on it. But at the moment, the only sort of semi-decent footage that I get out of this GoPro is to do time-lapse or slow motion. But it's a lovely little camera. I wish I could get used to using it. But if anybody's got any advice on how I could improve that, I'd like to use it a lot more than what I do. So the other camera that I occasionally use, like I just did when I was taking pictures of the G7X, is my Galaxy S9 phone. I'm not keen on it, but if I'm running low on battery or need to take pictures of, like I just did this camera, then I'll use it. But I'm not keen on it, mainly because I don't have a way of holding it steady enough. It's quite difficult for me to get some decent pictures out of that, I find. I prefer not to use the Galaxy phone if I can help it. So that just leaves one other camera that I'm using at the moment, and that's this little bad boy. So the other camera that I use is a DJI Spark Drone. I'm showing you just the front end on view because I've written my address and telephone number on the top, and I'm obviously not going to broadcast that across YouTube. Give you some idea of the size of it. There it is in my hand. It's quite small, which in the UK is quite a bonus. People have a bit of a downer on drones in the UK. They see a drone flying above them and for some reason their blood pressure goes up. But the Spark is such a small drone that they tend to see it more as a toy rather than the nice bit of kit that it actually is. It takes some very nice pictures, as you've seen. I mean, considering it's just me that's using it and I'm not very good at using it yet, I think the pictures are tremendous. But I'll show you that packed away in its little bag in a moment and show you where I store that. So we're now looking at the side bag on the other side of my trike, and in there goes that bag, just like so. It's almost like it was made to fit. So that bag contains the drone, the remote control and all the spares that come with it. So when I need the drone, it can come out, and inside the little bag, as as I say, is the remote control for it, the drone. There's 2 batteries, plus the 1 battery that's already attached to the drone. In the top pocket there I've got a spare set of propellers. You never have too many of those. And also in the front pocket there I've got another 3 batteries. I think there's 3 in there, I hope there's 3 in there. Yeah, it's 3 more batteries in the front there. So I've got 6 batteries in all, so lots more drone flying time to come. So when that's all packed up, that just slots back in there, like so. It even leaves me a little bit of room in here to put some snacks and things, and obviously there's room in the lid, because the lid comes up a lot higher than that bag. So we can keep more stuff in there. But that's where my drone sits. So just as I finished talking about the drone and saying I'm going to take it for a fly, there's this nasty grey cloud coming over. I think I might be about to get wet, but we'll see. So as I said, one of the positives of having a small drone like the Spark is that people don't seem to be that concerned about it. But the Spark drone's small size is also one of the disadvantages. It tends to get blown around a lot in very light winds. It's unlike its heavier cousins made by DJI. They can fly in a lot worse weathers than what the Spark can. I have to wait for almost perfect conditions, unfortunately. But it's not too bad. I mean, that's a very small downer for such a lovely little drone. So as you can see, I've got a bit of wind in the flag there, and you can probably hear it in the mic as well. But I'm getting all sorts of warnings on the drone as soon as I take off to land. I mean, it's windy, but it's just a little bit disappointing sometimes when there's something really good that you'd like to get some shots with the drone, and like I say, just a normal windy day is enough to ground the Spark, unfortunately. I'll try again in a minute. Oh. Just as he says that, there's a big gust. So whilst we're waiting to see whether the wind dies down a bit or not, so I'm taking all this footage. It's all high quality HD footage through all of my cameras. Where do I put it all? Well, each of the cameras contains, I think the drone has got 128 gig card. The G7X has got a 64 gigabyte card, and the GoPro's got the same, I think, a 64 gigabyte card. Each of those will hold enough footage for approximately 2 hours on each, which on an average day for me is more than enough, certainly in the Canon. So when I'm on tour at the end of each day, just so that I can keep a track of what I've recorded and where it's going, I create folders on this little gizmo. This attaches via a USB-C cable into my phone. I can then download every day onto this into a separate folder. This is a solid state drive by Samsung. It's 500 gigabytes. Just to give you an idea of what that can hold, then it would have been almost full when I got back from Holland. So that was 16 days worth of footage from all of my cameras went on that in Holland. And as I say, it was almost full. But if I did ever manage to fill this, then my phone has another equal to this inside it, so I could store exactly the same as this. So yeah, I don't think I'm anywhere close to running out of space when I'm on tour at the moment. So whilst I wait for the wind to calm down a bit, we'll look at some of yesterday's comments, and if I get to fly the drone in a little while, then I'll put the drone footage on the end of the video. If not, then sorry guys, I'll see you tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. So let's have a chat about some of yesterday's comments. So there's a couple of bits I forgot to talk about yesterday. Gloves, obviously. Talking about keeping warm. I always wear gloves, even in the summer. I have fingerless gloves. I don't have a particular brand that I buy or anything like that. I do need to get a pair of waterproof gloves. They would be nice. If anybody knows of a decent, good pair of waterproof gloves that I could be buying, please let me know. But otherwise, yeah, I just buy a warm pair of winter gloves. I have a merino wool pair of gloves that I can wear as like a second skin underneath some thicker winter gloves. And as I say, fingerless ones in the summer. I do like having gloves. The other thing that I forgot to mention yesterday was, what do you call it? Thing that wraps around your neck. They call them a buff. I don't know. But yes, I've got several of those anyhow. And you will have seen me wearing them earlier on in the week, I think. Yeah, I love them. Wear them as a hat, as a scarf, pull them up over your mouth and nose in the cold wind. Yeah, really good. So one or two of you also asked, why don't I wear a helmet, or do I wear a cycle helmet? No, I don't. I don't take anything away from those who want to. Those who want to wear a cycle helmet, completely personal choice. I have thought about it in the past. I did wear one when I was on two wheels, all the time, every single time. Now I've thought about the risks. I know what those risks are, and it's my own personal choice not to ride with a cycle helmet. Alright. He looked at my trike and he said, I want one of them now. He was sitting on a bike. Now, as I say, I don't take anything away from people who want to wear a cycle helmet on a trike. All good to them. My choice is not to. God forbid that I ever get hit by anything that's travelling at a speed that's going to do me any sort of real damage. But in that case, a helmet's not going to help me anyhow. And the speeds that I'm travelling at, I just don't see the risk as being that high. But that's my personal view, and everybody's entitled to their opinion. On the issue of my cold feet, one or two of you mentioned overshoes. I do have some overshoes, and they're Gore too, as it happens. I bought those and I wear them and they keep my feet dry, but I don't know whether it's the particular overshoes I bought, but they don't have a sole in them. They just slip over the top of my shoe, and like I said yesterday, the part of my feet that's getting cold is the soles, where they're facing into the wind all the time. The bottoms of my feet are really, really icy cold through the winter. Not a problem in the summer, so I'm going to be alright for the next 6-7 months, but next year will be good. Oh yeah. Yeah, next winter would be good to get that sorted. Hello.
Hi again.
Hi, yeah, thank you. Oh, which way should we go? Let's go this way. Graham A, I hope you recover from your knee op soon. All the best. Can't be much fun, I'm sure. But if my videos are giving you something to do whilst you're in hospital, I hope it helps. And Dennis, yeah, our roads have those zigzag white lines to indicate where there's a pedestrian crossing in the road. They also tell drivers that they're not allowed to park on them. So that's all they're there for. Both for before and after a pedestrian crossing, there's about 20 metres of those zigzags. Yeah, and Fernando, you're absolutely right. Having pockets in the front or at the sides particularly, having pockets in the sides, I mean, you put something in there and if it's not zipped up, it just falls out. I almost lost my car keys once. Luckily I was on tarmac, and I heard them as they fell out. If I'd have been cycling on grass, I wouldn't have heard it, and that'd be my car keys gone. But yeah, pockets are just hopeless, aren't they? I have one in this up here, one in my jacket here that it's got a zip on it, so that one's alright, but any other pockets, useless. Oh, look at this, the sun's come out again. It's wonderful now. I may well be able to get the drone out after all. Just depends on the wind. Right, well, there's absolutely naff all chance of this video being less than 15 minutes long today. So I'm just going to keep talking for the next half an hour. No, not really, I'm joking. But that is about it for today, I think. Just like to repeat what I say every day. Thank you all so very much for your comments. You have no idea how much they are appreciated. When I wake up every morning, the first thing I do is have a look at them, and they brighten up my day right from the get-go. So thank you so much for that. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please think about clicking the little like tick down the bottom there somewhere. I would really appreciate that. And if you've only just found me, please think about subscribing. I'd really appreciate that too. Just for now, I'm making these daily videos to answer subscriber questions, and hopefully before long I'll get my work-life balance sorted out and we'll be able to get out there touring again. For those of you that have just joined my channel, I'm in the middle of a challenge that I've set myself to cycle in every county across Great Britain and eventually hopefully the UK, so that's ongoing. I've also got a couple of fairly major tours coming up this year, still in the planning stage. Thank you. So yeah, if you like that sort of thing, please think about subscribing. It would be absolutely awesome. So let me know what you think about the distance of the camera away from my face now as well. Is that any better? Is that an improvement? Is it worse? Do you not like it? Let me know and we'll get it sorted. So tomorrow I'm going to talk about the stand assist bars and everything to do with them, and my new mirrors that you've been glimpsing all this week. Show you what they're all about. Meantime, I'm going to try flying the drone and enjoy the rest of my ride in this lovely sunshine. Hopefully the rain will stay away now. Cheers then guys, have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Ta-da.